Welcome back to They Did What? Your source for the internet's craziest, most entertaining stories, where I go over them, analyze them, and most certainly make fun of them. Today, gonna go over a story titled, I, a 40-year-old female, cheated on my husband, a 41-year-old male, and I want him back. And guys, this story is the classic example of a gal who has literally the perfect life, perfect marriage with her husband. She's 40 years old, so she's older, but she's not old. Has 3 kids with her husband. They both make good money. Nice house, nice neighborhood. Doesn't have to worry about money. The family loves him. He's like the perfect son-in-law to her parents. I mean, it's just, the stars are aligned. But guess what? Not enough for her. She's bored. Even though he treats her great, they go out, they do things, vacations, fun, obviously have the sex. Nope, she's still bored. And she completely ruins her marriage by having an affair. And worse yet, you're going to see that her husband, he wants to spice things up in the bedroom, if you will. Try some interesting activities. Not interested. Not at all. She has a lover. Guess what she does with him? All the stuff her husband doesn't want to do. And as you can probably imagine, and it's not long before her husband, who's no dummy, catches on and finds evidence of all this. And let's just say it doesn't end well for her, and she's now posting her story online, looking for a whole lot of pity in this long-ass story. And the last time I checked in the comment section, she ain't getting any. Not at all. That'd be a good one to go over here, guys. Once again, to show you that how so many women, try as you may as a man, and even without like trying too hard, being a pleaser, you can't make them all happy. Most you can't. There's always going to complain about something. So just be aware of that, gentlemen, as you guys maybe embark down that treacherous path called marriage one day. So it starts off, she says here, well, it's just as the title of the post says, and this is going to be long. I want advice, please. I've had enough of my self-loathing in the last few years. Of course, I know I deserve all the insults strangers will throw at me on the internet. My husband, a 41-year-old male, and I, a 40-year-old female, have been married for 17 years together. 17 years and together for 23. We met at the university my first year, and he was corresponding in his second year at the time. Our relationship could be everything other couples would envy. Now listen to this. Dates every weekend, getaways on random days of the week, and everything it takes to keep a relationship strong. No hassles, no arguments or fights, and even the sex was great. So one thing that she's left out of here is drama. You don't hear about drama. And I don't care who it is, every gal likes a little drama. Whether it's getting it by watching it on those silly shows on TV, those reality shows, or being right in the thick of it, they all like a little drama. Or even just to hear about the drama everybody else is, the gossip, that type of thing. Drama's missing, and drama's what she brings into her life. After 2 years of marriage, we had our first daughter, and 2 years later, we had a beautiful twin girls. Our careers are well paid, therefore money or debts have not been a problem in our relationship. If we had a problem in the relationship, I think it was mainly me. You see, my husband is a man with a great libido. And on the other hand, I don't have much of a libido. I'm someone who likes normal sex, as they say, vanilla. On the other hand, my husband likes to experiment. Every time he proposed to do new things such as dirty talk, sexting, and anal, or even swallowing his love juice, I backed down and told him I felt uncomfortable doing all those things. So nobody should do these types of things they don't want to do. I'll make that clear. But it's interesting when I do these stories how the husband or boyfriend or fiance wants to do these things. Woman's not interested. She cheats, she has affairs, and you find out she's doing all those things that he wanted to do. In fact, invites it. How interesting. And remember what she says she's not comfortable doing down the road as we get on with this story here. I backed down, told him that I felt uncomfortable doing all those things. I really disappointed him when I said no to all these things, but he understood and didn't force me to do things I didn't feel comfortable with, as any loving husband would do. But let's see how that is repaid. After a few years of marriage and how things got bored and how it represented, I began to take my husband for granted. He is a man who is an excellent father, a good friend, a good brother-in-law, and even a good son-in-law for my parents. Always, he is predisposed to help without asking for anything in return. He is, in a few words, a good husband, good partner and friend, good father, but all that ended when I cheated on him with a coworker. Yes, I fooled him. She has what so many gals say they wish they had, and then they get it, and they screw the whole thing up. As I said in the previous paragraph, my marriage was good. We had no problems of any kind, but I felt trapped, bored with the routine, so I asked a friend from work, what could I do to change the feeling of boredom, stagnation in which I found myself in? So she's going to go to some random woman that she works with, who probably is either statistically single, divorced, or in a bad marriage, for advice. And women being women who can be very jealous and spiteful of other women that are happy, be like, okay, I can script her perfect family life, and then I can enjoy every minute of it. She goes to this person for advice. My friend told me that I need emotion in my life. Translation, drama. At first, I did not understand, but she explained to me that I should get out of my daily life, start attending work meetings, attend when they organize an outing between the members of the office, and go out to drink and enjoy a pleasant evening. It should be noted that at the time, I would leave work and go straight home to prepare dinner. Sometimes I would arrive first and start preparing the dinner, or other times it was my husband who prepared it. As you would say, we had a great team effort. I told my husband that I was going to start going out with friends, and he supported me, telling me that sometimes it's good to get out of the routine, share time with friends to develop a better relationship. So he's giving her a chance. He's like, why would I not trust her? You know, he's trying to be a good guy. You see what being the good guy brings you, unfortunately, in many circumstances. I still remember the day it started, Friday, June 14, 2019, as my friend said. I went out with her and other colleagues from the office, and we went to the bar. Between laughs, alcohol, and a lot of fun, I began to establish a relationship with my colleagues from the office, but one of them is the one who approached me, my coworker and also my lover. Throughout the evening, we engaged in an innocent conversation. Well, clearly it wasn't that innocent. And we talked about our respective lives. He was married and his wife was pregnant, and on the other hand, I was married and had 3 beautiful girls. Since that day, it was common to meet and talk as good friends. Yeah, I can tell you were really good friends. And this douchebag is married, has a pregnant wife, and this is the shit he's doing. Even if his wife's being an a-hole, being pregnant, doesn't give him the right to pull this shit. And little by little, we deepened our relationship. To be honest, I have no idea when my emotional adventure began. It began the second you started talking to your friend about spicing things up, if you will. Our conversation that started as an innocent talk became increasing in intensity, and the topic ranged from how our respective relationships are going to the satisfaction we feel during intimacy. You're already cheating if you're talking about your husband and your bedroom activities, lady. From these innocent conversations to the intimacy talks, it marked a before and after. I began to send more text messages and spend more time with my coworker. Pay attention to what she's doing on the phone, guys. One thing led to another, and my emotional adventure turned physical, and our first meeting took place on September 14, 2019. The first meeting, that's what she called. Just say you were effing the guy. A few months after we began we went from being simple colleagues to being friends and later lovers, and during meetings I felt alive. Everything that I ever denied my husband, I experienced with him. Listen to this. From sexting, dirty talk, anal, and he even encouraged me to record myself while we were intimate. You all recall, this is all the stuff the husband wanted to do. Nope, not interested. I don't feel comfortable with that. But with the lover, anything you want, big boy. On the other hand, I began to neglect my husband, and we let off being intimate with the excuse that I was always tired, the stress of work, and so many things. But everything that starts quickly and without planning ends abruptly. Remember, all of a sudden she's losing interest in the sex, not affectionate, being distant. These are all signs. My husband discovered my affair several months later, and he confronted me. On Saturday, January 4th, 2020, after arriving to meet my lover, I returned home to find a totally different man from the one I knew. He was turned off, drinking a bottle of whiskey, while holding an old cell phone of mine. When I saw the phone in his hand, he took a look full of pain, and I knew what happened. I tried to get closer to him, but he only told me to stay where I was and not to move. Look how he started playing. Look, and he started playing a video on the phone, and as you can guess, it was one of the many videos I recorded with my coworker. This poor guy. The video was about how I asked him to fuck me in the ASS. Literally picturing her on all four, spreading those cheeks, peeking around, telling him to come fuck me in my ASS. Remember the husband wanted to do this? He simply turned up my cell phone and looked at me. Seeing that expression of pain made my stomach and turned into a knot. And I was barely audible voice he asked me why. When I heard those words, a dam was released, and I began to ask for forgiveness, to apologize, but he only told me to tell him everything, and so I did. I told him everything. I handed him my phone, and he called my coworker to confirm everything. And everything I said, but my coworker panicked and began to blame me, saying that I had seduced him and to not please say anything to his wife who had recently given birth to their son. I couldn't believe how the man who loved me so much would have thrown me off the cliff like nothing happened. Because he's a scumbag, that's why. He's a pregnant wife, and he's deliberately cheating on her and knowing that you're married. He's a scumbag. What do you expect? He's a Chad Tyrone. Chad Tyrone doesn't have any honor. And he's also a fucking coward and a pussy because he's begging, don't tell my wife. My husband was calm, or so it seemed on the outside, but he took my phone and took a capture and sent all the videos that were recorded on my phone, and he handed it to me. I asked him what he would do with that, and he just said no, it was only fair that my coworker's wife didn't know what kind of trash her husband was. So my husband left the house, leaving me alone, and not hearing from him for several weeks. I want to point out that their daughters are like high school, one's off in college or close to it, so it's not like they're little. It's not like he's leaving with little kids around. The kids are much older. When he left, I sent him messages to come home. We had to talk. Please forgive me. The only answer he gave me was that our daughters were with my mother at my parents' house, and that was the only message I had from him for weeks. In the following week, my week was hell. Oh, poor baby. My coworker's wife filed for divorce and kicked him out of the department, followed by filtering the videos, audios, and chat captures to all my coworkers to later pass on the information to my immediate boss. And yes, as you can guess, our company has strict policies on coworker relations, and I was fired along with my coworker. That guy's wife sent all the videos and all that across where she worked. Everybody got to see. I guess her on all fours, spreading the cheeks, saying, "Give it to me, big boy." Remember how she described her perfect marriage, how wonderful her husband is? I don't feel bad for her, and I'm sure none of you guys do. Nobody in the comment section, the last time I looked, felt bad for her. During this entire process, I had no news from my husband. My daughter still did not know what he had done, and no one in my family knew what happened. My husband had not said a word about what happened to anyone. The days passed, and my priority was to know what my husband's about his well-being. He did not answer my messages. My calls went to the mailbox. I needed support. I was completely desperate because this whole situation that I sought for myself. I contacted my mother and my sister, the people I could trust. When I told them everything, my mother slapped me, and my sister judged me, although she knew that I deserved all the insults and disgust that my actions had caused them. No, I tried to justify myself, and what happened, I had no way to do it. I'm sure that would be pretty funny to see her mother, whoosh, because she's 40 years old. It's not like about 40 years old. She's not a kid, but mama, smack. See, everybody needs a good smack every now and again. My life was an example that was perfect, so to speak. My husband was the perfect man, so to speak. Attentive, affectionate, respectful throughout our relationship. He never raised his voice to me, and when he found out about my affair, he did not insult me. I do not mistreat myself despite the betrayal. If you wonder why my daughters didn't ask about their father, I told them that their father had gone away on a business trip, and the area he was working doesn't have good coverage. By the way, English is not our first language. That's why some of the things are a little off here as I read them. A week passed by, and my husband finally contacted me. He only told me that he wanted to talk to me and to invent any excuse for our daughters to leave us alone. Also, he asked as someone from my family present during the conversation, as a witness, as an insurance policy, in case I try to change the narrative or the facts, or that I said my own husband physically or psychologically hurt me. She says, I will admit hearing him say that hurt in depths of my being. I called my mom so that she would have the girls for the rest of the afternoon, and I called my sister to be the witness that my husband needed for the conversation to develop, and that's how it was done. My husband arrived in the afternoon, and we talked. When I saw him, I tried to get closer to him. I wanted to hug him. I wanted him to listen to me. He's probably like, get your freaking hands away from me, woman. I wanted to apologize for hurting him and destroying what we had built together over the years, but he just waited for me not to touch him and walked towards the door, passing by me without turning to see me. My husband waited for me to calm down so he could talk, but at this point, I was a mess. Cried in the waterworks and the drama and the theatrics. You brought this on yourself, honey. My husband saw me differently. There was no love or warmth in his gaze anymore. There was just a man with an indifferent look in his face. He wanted to talk and explain the inexplicable, but he just stopped me and told me that he didn't want to hear the reason behind my deceit, just wanted me to hear what he had to say. In other words, bitch, shut up. Let me talk. He told me about his past. I knew that he'd grown up in an orphanage, and at the age of 9, he was adopted by a family, that his adoptive parents had died in a car accident when he was going to turn 18. But apparently that was a lie. He was an orphan in the orphanage until he was 18 years old, and then he began to open up to life, work and pay for his studies, which was true during our courtship, and he had 2 jobs, and that was all he had, and made time to go out with me. I wanted to ask him why he had lied about his origins, but he told me to shut up and keep listening. He told me now that he felt as a child, that the feeling that there are couples who want to adopt but want children who are small, and like being the oldest in the orphanage, is not pleasant at all. Seeing how there are children younger than him, they are lucky to be adopted, and the promise to work hard to have a family which lacks nothing, does not lack food on the table, lack of love and understanding. His desire since he was in the orphanage was only to have a united family. He also told me the reason why he hid this from me and told me a lie was he was afraid that I would reject him because of his origins. So this is a guy literally self-made and wanted to have a great family, and look how he's repaid. Now, he should have told the truth about his past, but that's small potatoes in compared to her bullshit. Then he went on to say that during our relationship and subsequent marriage, he finally understood the happiness of having a family. Our daughters were born, and he finally felt that he could fulfill his wish, but that things do not always turn out as they have to be. He told me that after verifying my deception, now he understands he has no right to be happy. I wanted to refute him. I wanted to tell him that please don't say that, but my words didn't come out. As if they got stuck in my throat. Well, other things were stuck in your throat, honey. He told me that now more than ever he wanted to divorce me, and during all these weeks that I had no news of him. What'd you expect, sweetheart? That he want to stick around with you? That he just give you a second chance and give you a big old hug? I don't care how much you promise him. It was because he consulted different lawyers, and they all gave him the same answer. In our city, cheating is not punished. The mother would always have priority regarding the custody of the children, and he only had the right to see his kids on the weekends. Plus, he would still have to pay alimony. Isn't that the biggest bunch of bullshit? She ruins the whole thing, and still, he knows darn well that she'd get the kids and alimony and the house and all that. But here's the thing. The kids aren't that. The kids are very close to being legal adults. He told me that he refused to destroy our family, he refused to see his daughters twice a week, and that he refused to give me the house that he had worked so hard for. He gave me the USB and told me that all the evidence of my affair was there, the rest had been deleted from his cell phone. But the fact that we didn't get divorced didn't mean that he'd forgiven me or that our marriage was saved. He told me that we were done, that ours was dead, and that he would be cordial and respectful for our daughters and loving in public. But when we're alone, don't even think about getting closer than he allows me. In other words, he's staying with her for the sole reason that he doesn't want to have to go to like seeing his kids every other weekend and her getting the house on it. And now, I disagree with this. I think he should just go anyway. But what I think is going on here is it'll be revealed his daughter's about to turn 18 real soon. All of them real soon. And I think the dude is just saying, all right, this sucks, but I'm biding my time. And the second, they're old enough, then I will at least want to pay child support, and maybe I can do something else. But even still, I get that, and again, him not wanting to, not see his kids as often, but they're about to be adults, and he can see them anyway, that whenever he wants to soon. And why stay in the same house with her and all that, He moved to the invitation of guests. The pandemic came and went, and we had a margin to say that we were isolated from us, and he was the main provider of the house. During this time, I did what was advised in case of infidelity and deceit. I gave him a space for me to process everything. I started working on myself to be a better person, a better mother, and also be a better wife. But despite everything, he kept rejecting me. There was an occasion where I approached him while I was washing the dishes. I hugged him from behind, and he rejected me immediately. Do you think he was kidding? She was just thinking, okay, I'll just wear him down. He'll eventually, the good man I know he is, the nice guy I know he is, eventually going to come out. Nope. So get the fuck away from me. He released himself from my grip, and all I saw was a look of anger. In the following months, it was the same. I cut off every communication attempt I had with him, with a yes, no, maybe, and our conversations about the future ended. Before my adventure, he was the queen of my life, my whole life. Now it's just me. There are no caresses, there are no kisses, there are no hugs, there's no I love yous or I love you. There's only a cold look without a gram of warmth. What do you expect? You're lucky he's not making you look like a damn fool by divorcing you. If my daughters realized, they must have been attributed to the fact that we were fighting or the stress of the pandemic. 2020 was in many ways hell for me. Many times I would look at the ceiling of my room and wonder what to do. How could I fix this? How could I return things to normal? You're never going to return things to normal. This guy gave you everything, you know. He obviously was too good to you, and look how you repaid him. These women in these stories always think there's something I can do, and I can say, I can promise. He's never going to get those images out of his head. If she wanted to do him a favor, she would divorce him and give him the best terms possible. That would be the thing she could do to show him how much she cared, how sorry she was. She'll divorce him, but no alimony, or they'll get a divorce, and she'll say, okay, you know what, I got a job, I can take care of myself, you keep the house, no alimony. Then that's how she can, you know, amend for what she's done. She says, I had many angry outbursts. The following year, 2021, I wanted him to show me an emotion. I wanted him to be angry with me, insult me, even hit me. He had the right to do whatever he wanted to me, but I wanted him to unleash his anger on me. I wanted him to show me some emotion, and when he saw me, even in my desperation, I told him that he could do whatever he wanted with me, sexual favors. See what it boils down to in her eyes? That stuff. And notice how she's freaking out because he doesn't give her any emotions. It's making her yell at me, scream at me, throws things at me, hit me. Nope. This is why I tell you guys, you get into a fight. If she starts, you get into an argument or a fight, and she's being clearly an a-hole, just walk away. Don't yell, don't scream, don't do anything. It makes them crazy because they want the fucking drama. Not give them the drama makes them crazy. But his expression changed from indifference to disgust. He would accept that we would have a one-sided open marriage on his part, and I might even allow him to SCX with my girlfriends who admitted they were attracted to my husband as a man, and even I can coordinate those meetings. He can stay in the room and watch him get intimate with another woman. But the only answer I got was that if things were fixed with simple SCX, then there would be no such thing as divorce. She's literally offering him to have a one-sided open marriage and hook up with her friends that like him to get, what does it say about her? We return to normality in 2023. Our eldest daughter will enter university next year, and our twins are already in their first year of high school. And in a few years, they will go to university. Yeah, they'll be legal adults by then, and then he can see whenever they want. Things continue the same with my husband. He does not speak to me beyond what is necessary. The maximum contact you have with me is a simple hug, no more caresses, no more kisses, and I love you. I have a new job, and I changed my number, and I delete all my colleagues from my previous job and in my life, and I am starting again. Although I earn less, but still enough to contribute to any expenses that are needed at the moment. Although I feel comforted with the attention from my coworkers because they want me to start a relationship with them. I've been firm and refused to have any contact with any of them outside of our work hours after 3 years of D-Day. I can say that I have improved as a person and I can consider myself a good mother, but I want to try and make amends with my actions for all the damage I caused. I have made the promise that if my husband gives me a second chance, I decide to be the best wife in the world. I only hope that this possibly is latent in the future. Well, I guess you better get prepared to spread those cheeks, get the lube out, and take it, because that's going to be the first thing he's going to want. It's not going to happen. 3 years, this guy's done with you. He's done. I can tell you that right now. Marriages that have overcome infidelity, how do they do it? How long does it take for your spouse to open up? Several years have passed, and I still feel like it was the day my husband discovered everything. She also says here, as an edit, I betrayed my husband for some cheap and fleeting thrills. My lover was average at best compared to my husband's prowess during intimacy. Plus his member was bigger. You don't know how much I regret it or what happened. Please don't insult me. I've had my own self-loathing over these years, and I want advice. I want my marriage back. I want my husband back. I want to see my husband smile. I want to sleep with him again. I wish I could wake up this morning and the first thing I see is a smile as he caresses my hair. The only smile you're going to see from him is when you finally say, give him a divorce under his terms. Then you'll see him smile. That's about it. It's not going to happen. And she's writing this saying, don't insult me, don't do this. You can't possibly write a story like this on the internet, on Reddit, and expect that you're going to get people there-thering you. Now, maybe there are some people there-thering her, right? But by and large, what I saw, no freaking way. So here's an example. Great life, family, all that. Screws the whole thing up because she's bored. Guaranteed wants the butterflies, wants the drama and all that. And it's not like her husband, they want to spice things up in the bedroom. Nope. Not interested. Clearly, at the end of the day, she wanted the excitement and the drama that came from cheating and the affairs and all that. And he wasn't, she can't get that from a good guy. Because why would a good guy give her crazy drama and stuff like that? This is why women love the bad boys, because they always give them the drama and the adrenaline rush and the roller coaster of emotions and the butterflies. So, ladies watching this, you can have all the drama with the bad boys, or you can have a good guy that's going to give you the family life. You can't have both. But sadly, we know darn well who ultimately they're going to go for. The emotions are, in mind are going to go for the nice guy who can provide and do the white picket fence with the kids. But emotionally, always the bad boy wins. And they come crying back to the nice guy husband, begging for a second chance. And a lot of these guys, unfortunately, do take him back. But other ones either kick him to the curb, or it's a situation like this. I think the husband needs to get rid of her. I think he probably will the second the girls are legal adults, and there's no issues of seeing them anymore. But the best thing she could do is give him a very great divorce on his terms. Because it's not worth living your life like that. You know, I actually think she probably will divorce him one day because she's probably tired about this whole thing. That's probably part 2 in a year. Anyway, guys, that'll be an entertaining one to go over here. All right, guys, that is it for today. Be sure to comment down below. Let me know what you think about this. And be sure to like the video, share with your friends, and subscribe. I'll catch you next time.